Poducer.
Dude, look at this. This looks like I'm drinking pee. You know what I mean? It's green tea,
That's green, just regular green tea. Yeah.
but it looks like pee.
Yeah. It's probably healthy. It's probably good.
It's good for you.
Yeah.
No, it's good. All right, just wanted to make sure people are aware of that.
Definitely.
All right, I'll do a little intro. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Poducer, the podcast for producers. Today we're joined by DJ Mochi.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Of course. I wanted to get into, well, actually, what do you do? Let's just do that. That's a good way to start it.
Yeah, open it up real open.
Open it up.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm a DJ, somewhat aspiring producer and event curator here in Chicago. I've been DJing full time for the last 2 years. I've been DJing professionally for almost 10 years now. And yeah, I throw a few parties around town, my main one being Global Currency. We do it every 2 or 3 months at Sleeping Village. And wherever else I can get booked, I'll take the gig. But yeah, I love throwing parties, hosting events, building community, and yeah, playing the shit I love to play.
Dude, and you play a lot of different stuff. We'll get into that.
Oh, definitely.
I wanted to quickly make something clear something up. Because DJ Mochi, I think of like the little fun Japanese snacks or whatever, like ice cream things.
Yeah.
But it's not actually that.
It's not that. When I don't feel like telling the full story at a club and it's loud, I will say it's that because it's a lot going on. But the real Mochi origin story actually started in Argentina in 2000, whenever I was 21 years old. I don't want to age myself, but that year, I was studying abroad in Argentina, and I became friends with this guy named Lucas, and he became kind of like my main plug in Argentina, and I would follow him everywhere he would go. And his friend group would call me Mochi, because Mochi is short for mochila, which is backpack in Spanish. So I basically they call me like I was like his backpack, always following him around everywhere he would go.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Yeah, so Mochi short for mochila, and that's the real story, and so that stuck with me. And then it was around the same time I started DJing more, and I was the only nickname I really had at the time. So I was like, let's just roll with it. There's been times that I wanted to change it because I think it can be a little silly sometimes too, but people seem to gravitate towards it. So
no, it's fun. Even though it isn't mochi, like mochi's so fun and like kawaii, like that's like the Japanese term for like cute kind of.
Yeah.
And it's just like fun. DJ
yeah.
Mochi, it just hits.
Thank you, man. And I do love mochi. Let the record show, I do like the ice cream ball mochi stuff. So yeah. Either way, but that's the real backstory.
Okay. So you were in Argentina.
Yeah. I had an exchange student stay in my house in high school. His name, same guy, Lucas. Actually, that's how I first met. I was like a junior, senior in high school. I was living in Portland, Oregon. That's where I grew up. We became friends. Played soccer together, hung out, went out together all the time. And then he went back to Argentina after his exchange program. Then I was like, I'm gonna go visit you. After high school, I saved a bunch of money, visited him, and for like a week or two, stayed with his family and was like, yo, this is a great time. I love it out here. I'm a huge soccer fan. Like, soccer culture in Argentina is insanity. So that was a big reason why I loved being there and just in South America in general. And then I was able to come back in my junior year of college. I did like a semester out there in Buenos Aires. And yeah, it was definitely good times. It's going to be wild. It's been a long time since I've been back, but yeah, very, very good experience. Yeah, love it.
I mean, it's like, it's not like going to like England or something. It's like a little bit more exciting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No one speaks English very well down there. So luckily I had years of experience learning Spanish going into it. But I will say, of all the accents to learn, Argentinian accent has to be easily in the top 3 hardest accents to learn. It's very Italian influenced, so if you don't know any Spanish, it will actually sound like they're speaking Italian, just a lot of upward inflections. They use their hands a lot, kind of vibe. So very sing-songy. They got their own very crazy slang. So it was definitely a crazy experience learning the language, but it definitely luckily I'm fluent now, so Shout out the
go.
Argentines.
Yeah. Are you a yerba mate kind of guy?
Definitely am a yerba mate guy.
I
Yes.
almost got us some, and then I got the pea.
That would have been
the pea.
That would have really elevated this podcast. I would have been yapping my ass off by the end of this podcast. I came in with a cold brew. If you would have added yerba mate onto that, it would have been. I would be zooming right now. But I'm a huge fan. If I need to be up late after 3 a.m., I will definitely be ripping bowls of yerba mate.
In the gourd?
I've got the gourd. I've got
Is that what it's called?
Gourds. It's called a mate.
Okay.
And then the stuff you put in it is like the yerba, thus yerba mate. But I mean, yeah, Americans call it, the English word for it is gourd for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm out here in Chicago. I get that yerba mate.
Yeah, put it in the gourd. Let me slurp that shit.
I want to try it in the gourd. I'm not gonna lie.
Man,
it sounds...
next time I'm on this podcast, I will bring.
We'll be like just holding them like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah,
but fan. That's a big thing, and they yeah, dude. I took Spanish.
Okay.
We learned about Argentina.
You
but
look
I feel
Argentine.
Like, no.
Yeah, you do.
Do I?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's go. Boom. I got some tan this weekend. I'm like still really white, but like
there's a lot of white people down there. Yeah.
Yeah. Really? Is it like
it's by far the most white Latin American country.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a history over there that is definitely dark.
Yeah. Yeah. We won't get into that, but you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It gets bad around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, let's I feel like it wouldn't be right because I always do like a fun icebreaker question, which is, what was your first concert? And not a concert that like you played, just one that you went to.
The one that sticks out to me as like, I probably went to like little festivals with my family when I was like a little kid that I can't remember here and there. There's a blues festival in Portland that was really famous, and so I'd go with my family to that, and I was really into like, I played guitar growing up, and so I was like really into blues music and like seeing that. But the one that I remember as like sort of as like more of a teenager going out to, me and my sister went to go see the Decemberists in Portland.
Okay.
Do you know?
Not familiar.
Okay. They were like a big indie rock band in Portland. Portland has like a really big indie rock scene. And back then I think in 8th grade, and they had a song called 16 Military Wives, and I would like listen to that song a lot. And it was like definitely during my indie rock era. It was at this cool venue called the Crystal Ballroom. Like the floor would bounce, like it had like kind of like springy floors.
Ooh. Like on purpose? Or like that was just a fun aspect of it?
It's like a fun, like lethal aspect of it. It was on purpose. It was 100 like 100-year-old venue, and yeah, I think they designed it to have these springs in the floors. And I think it's like cool. I think part of the slogan was like dancing on air. It's like Crystal Ballroom, dancing on air, or something like that. It was memorable because it was like early on, but I would never listen to Decemberists in my age right now. I think I definitely grew out of them, and but yeah, it was my sister Sonia. She took me, and yeah. Yeah,
it sounds like a good one. We could talk about Portland. Anything notable about the move to Chicago from Portland? Do you miss Portland?
Yeah. I came out here after college. I went to school at University of Oregon. I got my degree in journalism. So being on a podcast is at least being on this side of the podcast is different. Normally, I'm like, I used to be really into radio is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you had a radio show, right?
Yeah,
at the University of Oregon.
Yeah. My sophomore or junior year, I got a DJ music radio show on the music radio program KWVA. I had like a Saturday afternoon 2-hour jazz show from noon to 2 called The Ride.
Nice.
Yeah. Portland had a really dope jazz radio station growing up, and I kind of wanted to emulate what Portland had in Eugene, which is the college town that I studied at. So yeah, I got into radio as just a platform in general, like in college. Was like, my strong suit in general was writing, growing up in school, and like journalism just seemed like the right path as well. So U of O had a really good journalism program. So I was focused on like magazine writing and radio journalism. I was really into like long form journalism, like in any platform really.
The original podcasting. Now it's just people call it podcasting.
Yeah, exactly, man. No, times have changed. But I did start a podcast as well called This Oregon Life, which was like basically a complete ripoff of This American Life. Are you familiar with that NPR show? So it was like a storytelling podcast. So yeah, no, the podcasting and like radio just in general as a platform was like huge for me. And that I guess long story short, it led me to an internship at WBEZ Radio here in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
So I moved back to Portland after college, worked at a local Portland radio show, internship, I should say. Lived at home with my family, worked at a Mexican restaurant on the side, saved up some money, and then I applied to different internships in different cities, different NPR internships, and landed at WBEZ. I was an intern at a show called Worldview, which was a daily talk show about world affairs, world news, hosted by Jerome McDonnell, R.I.P. the show. I was about to say R.I.P. him. He's still alive, but the show is dead.
But the show.
I let the record show. But yeah, it was a great experience. It brought me, so that was January 2016. I came out here and did that for like 6 months. And radio was my life for a while.
Fell in love with Shy. No. Is that
Chicago?
guy? Yeah.
Of the Shy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, definitely soon enough. Yeah. I mean, it's been 8 years. Haven't really had any plans to leave yet. But for now, no, Chicago definitely feels like home. When I go to different cities, I definitely like rep Chicago. Yeah.
I was thinking for a second that the Mochi was actually Mo Shy.
Like Shy. Yeah, that happens.
Shy,
People
dude.
think Mochi too. I get Mochi a lot, like mocha, but with an I.
Okay. Don't know where that one comes from,
no.
but okay. It's fine. You can think whatever you want.
Exactly, man. No, yeah, the Mochi could be. That's definitely, there's something there.
So Chicago, actually this is really interesting that, you went to school for like, it was journalism, because, and this is kind of like where I think we should go, is the genres that you play. You cover a lot of different genres. Like, I would call it like world music.
For sure.
And is that partly almost like a journalism in like DJing? It's like, I want to go out there, learn about music, and then show people, and the medium is DJing kind of?
I definitely think deep down there's something there to that, for sure.
Okay.
Ever since I was young, I've just been very fascinated and curious about learning about different cultures in any way, whether it's like languages, music, food. I would like to say I have a pretty open mind about a lot of things. Obviously, there's more learning to be done, but totally no. Yeah, I, like you said, I don't like to be pigeonholed with a sound. I do, and like I think I think in how do I phrase this? I mean, in a perfect DJ set, you are telling a story, I feel like. And I feel like I left journalism because the work I was doing did not seem very impactful. Like, I didn't feel like I was reaching audience in a way that was very satisfying to me. And I feel like DJing and sharing music is obviously an amazing form of communication, and like I feel like you get more direct feedback from it as well. Like, I would write an article for PBS and like it would get maybe like 5 views. If it got like 5 retweets, I'd be like, oh my god, people are actually reading my work. But like, I would do a DJ set and put people on the different music, and people be blowing their minds, shazamming songs,
See them dancing.
yeah, dancing, and you're just getting instant gratification from that. So yeah, I do completely think there's a connection between journalism, storytelling, and like DJing, because I think the best sets really do, I try to tell a story and like inform people.
Yo, what's up, guys? Before we get into today's show, I want to take a quick moment to talk about our sponsor, Quake. As music producers and concert enthusiasts, we know how important it is to protect our ears. That's where Quake's Dub Muffs V2 come in. They aren't just any earplugs, they're a game changer. What sets Dub Muffs V2 apart, first off, their quality. They're better than any plugs I've ever used. I use them all the time. I have custom in-ear plugs. These are my main ones that I bring to shows. You get premium sound clarity, preserving those crisp highs and deep lows, all while safeguarding your ears from damaging volumes. And the best part, they don't break the bank. Quality and affordability, son. Let's talk customization. Quake knows one size doesn't fit all. That's why they offer 2 sizes. Whether you're at an intimate gig or a massive festival, Dub Muffs V2 fit comfortably in your ears, making sure you're protected no matter how long the show lasts. Let's face it, we've all left concerts with ringing in our ears. It's not good, but it ends up happening. But it doesn't have to be that way. Protect your ears while enjoying the pure sound of music with Quake's Dub Muffs V2. As a special thank you to our listeners, Quake is offering an exclusive discount. Just use the code POD15 at checkout to save on your first purchase. As a motto of our show, make sure you protect your ears. Now let's get back to the show.
So like musically for me, it really started when I was 8. My mom and dad basically forced me to learn an instrument at an early age. They're like, you've got to pick up an instrument, you choose. And I picked up guitar, and basically immediately fell in love with it. Would shred for hours a day. Started a band called the Cobras in the 3rd grade. It's spelled with a Z.
Nice.
The record show, have to spell it with a Z. So me and my 4 or 5 friends, there was a cellist, there was a stand-up bassist, there was a violinist, there was me on guitar, and a drummer, and we were in like 4th and 5th grade, I think. We started the Cobras, and it was like we maybe had like 4 songs, but we would hang out, get together.
Dude. A lot of strings going on there.
So many strings.
A lot of strings.
Probably like, what is that, 20, 30 strings? Yeah.
It's a lot of
strings. A lot of strings, yeah. I didn't think about that until now, but as I was listening, I'm like, that's just an orchestra at this point.
When you said the drummer, I was like, sheesh. Like,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, like, get this guy out of here. He's not, where's the strings at? I guess he had string, whatever. So that was like my first experience like performing and playing in a band. And yeah, we probably had like 5 songs, but it was all like blues rock, I would describe it, vibes. Cool. Pretty simple, like 2 or 3 chord progressions, just jamming. But that was really where I guess it all began, if you will. And then yeah, guitar took me on a journey through like middle school and high school and even part of college. I really got into jazz music as well. My dad had a pretty extensive record collection with a lot of like, say blues, jazz, and rock was like a lot of what he had. And so most of my like early childhood was just like learning music through my dad's music, and he would put me on to a lot of stuff. And yeah, joined a jazz band in middle school and high school. Got really like locked in on that. And even my first year of college, I studied jazz guitar as well. And then I realized how hard it really is at a higher level. And jazz is an insanely hard genre to play. Still one of my favorite types of music, but I guess if you're asking like, yeah, sort of where it all began musically for me, that's where that began. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
yeah, jazz just feels like jazz, dude. It's like, where's it going?
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously getting trained, there is a way to do it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. There's a whole like formal education about it. Yeah.
To learn jazz to me just seems like the most open-ended versus like if you're learning, I don't know, orchestral music, it just feels like.
Yeah, the improvisation factor of jazz is like the core of it all. And so it's really just like the rawest form of creativity if you think about it. So I mean, yeah, beautiful genre. But yeah, it definitely got a little bit too complex for me after my freshman year. It was definitely a rude awakening. I'm like, let me choose the other pathway that would also give me no money and career options. I'm gonna be a journalist.
Hell yeah.
Jazz and journalism. Which one do we want to go?
I was thinking philosophy for a minute.
Yeah.
And I think my brother was like, you can just like be philosophical. You don't have to go to school for that. I was like, yeah,
that's true.
That's real.
What did you get your undergrad degree in, if you went to undergrad?
I went to Columbia for sound design and production. So it's like basically audio engineering.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But didn't use that for a while. Now that we're doing the podcast, I mean, no, it's great. Yeah. It's super useful. And for music production, obviously super clutch.
Yeah.
This isn't about me, but I have a dog walking business, got into that, and just was like, I kind of enjoy doing this. It's not
good
working in a studio and being that guy. So anyway, let's get back to the origin story here. And maybe this will be a good way to do it, because there's some genres that you posted on Twitter that you got to play at a recent show, and we'll talk about that. But there's some genres that I was like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's just go through them. So Amapiano. Piano? Just piano?
Amapiano.
Amapiano.
Yeah.
Okay, I spelled it wrong. What is that?
That is the question of the day, my friend.
Is it?
It might be. It might be. So where do I begin? I could really yap all day about this.
No, let's get in.
You want to get in?
I kind of just like,
Let's just dive in. Let's just dive in.
I love a good tangent.
Let's go in. If you've been to my sets in the last 2 years, I'd say you would know that I play a lot of Amapiano music. Going back a little bit to give you guys some frame of reference, it's a music genre from South Africa. It originated I think around like the 2010s ish. Very influenced by house music. House music in South Africa was huge in the 90s and 2000s. So that became very much like pop music in South Africa. A lot of DJs would start slowing down house music to a lower BPM, and it became the genre called Kwaito, Kwaito. And then I think in the 2010s, early 2010s, it eventually evolved into a genre that everyone knows now as Amapiano. It's become one of the biggest like global dance music waves in the last 5 years, I'd say, especially in the last 2 years. But yeah, I personally got into it right before the pandemic. One of my DJ idols, DJ MoMA, was putting out DJ mixes on SoundCloud, and he put out a mix that was mostly all like South African Amapiano music. And yeah, I just instantly fell in love. I cannot stop listening to it. It's a genre I could listen to and play almost all day. There's times when it's gonna die on me, but it doesn't.
It comes back.
It just keeps calling me back. But in terms of like sound wise, if you want to get a picture of it, it's like I would say slower down house music with like a lot of like dope, intense percussion, like shakers, heavy snare drums during like the peak moments. Whistles, like there's a lot of cool like percussive elements like whistles you hear in a song. There's sometimes a rapper or a singer on it, but a lot of the original stuff was all instrumental. And then the key factor is like this an instrument called the log drum, which is a preset on I think Fruity Loops that like the producers would find there. And yeah, just like this insanely heavy bass that just like smacks you in your soul. So
the log drum. It's not even like an instrument, it's a preset in FL.
I think it must be an instrument. Maybe I'm not speaking the right language in that sense.
We could look it up.
Yeah. But yeah, the songs are like sometimes as long as 12 minutes long, or like they're like designed for DJs. There's like usually like 16 to 32 bar intros, like a first verse and then like a chorus, and then like once the quote unquote log drum drops, it's just like the energy is insane. There's dance moves. It's like blown up on TikTok.
Oh, I love dance moves.
Yeah,
like specific dance moves.
Yeah,
hell yeah. Let's go.
If you go on TikTok and just search Amapiano, you will go down a rabbit hole of these most like insane, like very original and creative and high energy like dance moves. It's like someone said like Amapiano is a lifestyle. There's the dancing side of it, there's the DJ side of it, there's a whole fashion scene behind it. There's like, you show up at the club, you wear sunglasses, you bring a whistle. It's just I'm like just very lost in it. And yeah, any chance I can play it, I will. And yeah.
Okay, a couple things I looked up as you were explaining it.
Yeah.
The log drum may be a quintessential defining element of Amapiano. While based on a real instrument in Amapiano, the log drum is a hybrid tone somewhere between a kick drum, 808, synth bass, and actual log drum percussion.
Yep.
So that makes it's kind of like a tom almost, or like, well, not a tom, but a deep tom.
Yeah, it kind of serves as like a kick and a bass, and like it always it comes in at like interestingly sporadic moments.
Like stuff like that. Okay, and then also while you were, I found a playlist that's just called Best of Amapiano.
Cool.
And we're just gonna hit the first track, and I'm gonna put it up to the mic, and you can tell me if this one's hitting. Maybe I'll go a little into it.
Most songs take like a nice like
we'll just go
45 seconds. Okay, let's go. Oh yeah. Is this Vigro Deep?
Yeah. Yes. Ghost Producer is the track.
This is a banger. This is a good one.
Are we into the log?
Oh, there we go. Right there.
Oh. Whoa. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna get like the copyright or something, but okay, that was not the sound I was expecting. That sounded to me more like almost like a saw-like wave form instrument. Not as it's got a little bit more grit to it than I was expecting, but I like it.
And yeah, obviously unfortunately the phone speakers don't do justice. So
I didn't want to play it over like actual because it's that copyright stuff.
For sure it makes sense,
but you get it, like you can listen
no, you can still feel it in a way. No, I mean, this is music you need to listen to on like a proper sound system. Like I will actually not play any
Yeah.
Amapiano unless the sound system is at least like an A minus B plus grade system or higher. Otherwise, it literally doesn't do the music justice, and like it's just not worth it because it just doesn't hit the same. But like you get the sound system, intimate room with like subs. I guess in South Africa in the clubs they just stack subs on top of each other, like
Dude,
like
sound system
towers
culture in general
that's a whole nother conversation.
is I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked about it on the podcast, and I'm sure it's completely different in, you said South Africa,
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
So like, dude, I think more so we're getting to an era where it's like, it's about the music, obviously, but it's almost more about the sound.
Yeah.
In whether people know that or not, they
Totally.
are attracted to the system. And
Completely.
you know, when DJing first started, it was like the DJ wasn't this like prolific, like just we got to look at the DJ the whole
Right.
time. It was just people dancing around. Like
Totally.
DJ didn't really matter, and the DJ still matters as a selector. But
Yeah.
like,
No, it was
it'd
awesome.
be cool if we get back to that.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Anyway, that was a tangent.
I'm
Let's-
here with you, brother.
I just want to like make sure we're covering Amapiano because I just had never heard of it, and this to me doing this is about like just learning stuff.
Yeah.
Too. So yeah, South African dance music originated in 2010s. This is also the Google AI overview. Don't
Cool.
know if I trust these fully.
So far, so good from what I read.
So far, sounding good.
Yeah, I was reading a New Yorker article about it the other day, just so I knew my history right. But yeah,
Comes from the Zulu language and means the pianos or piano people. And, okay, you know what? We're not going to try to educate you on it, but like go listen to it because I'm going to do the same thing.
definitely. If you want to go listen to it, yeah, there's. I mean, where to begin? There's like a lot of big artists you can check out.
Yeah. What are some artists? Like if you
just
could,
real quick,
off the top.
starter pack artists, Kabza De Small. He is one of the original founders of it. Probably one of my favorite producers and DJs. A lot of them are producers and DJs, which is dope. Kabza De Small, DJ Maporisa, Uncle Waffles is probably the biggest viral.
It's the name, dude.
It's an insanely great name, and
It's just
like
fun to say.
Like I said, with the dancing, she does it all. She's a DJ, and then her performances now are like she'll run in front of the DJ booth and put on a whole like dance performance as well. So like the performative aspect of it is amazing too. And she tours the world. She's playing at the Brooklyn Mirage in August. Like she plays big events now.
Wow.
So those are a few artists if you want to get into the genre.
Okay, yeah. No, dope. This is like what I was kind of hoping for. And then okay, this is a good place to also talk about like how did you find out about this, and like kind of how do you in general find out about just new music that you're going to incorporate into your sets?
Yeah, I think I'm just like a complete like sponge for music. Like anywhere I go, I go out, support other DJ friends. I'm a shameless Shazammer. You know, I will Shazam music in front of you with no shame.
Yeah.
I don't believe in gatekeeping music in that sense either. So if I'm playing a set and someone wants a song, I'll like Shazam away. You know, or
Is
like,
it pretty reliable, like for the most part?
not all the time. Surprisingly, Amapiano. There's a lot of Amapiano on Shazam. Caribbean music can be very hard to find on Shazam, which is weird. But anyway, but yeah, like I said, like all types. I'm a huge SoundCloud nerd. I've been on SoundCloud since I was like a teenager. A lot of my remixes and edits are all from SoundCloud and Bandcamp. So that becomes a rabbit hole. I find artists and DJs that I like, and I go through their likes. That's kind of a cheat code in a way.
The likes is yeah.
Yeah, I just put you on game.
That's the move.
Yo,
That's what I do.
So makes me almost want to hide my likes so people don't steal my stuff. But yeah, literally anywhere I can find it. At a restaurant, if I hear a song that's a banger, going to DJ sets. YouTube has become a big platform too. There's DJ sets on YouTube are like become a really big deal now.
Well,
Big
because
thing.
it's like I think people are scared that SoundCloud might like die or something.
Yeah.
And YouTube is eternal somehow because it's linked to Google.
Yeah, that could be it.
That's my thought.
For sure. There's been some scares with SoundCloud, but it's like hold on and people.
No, it might be coming back though. Actually, I don't know.
People act like it fully fell off, but for me, there's bangers for days on SoundCloud still. I think just people are romanticizing that like 2013 to 2016 like early K-Tronada Future Beats selection era stuff, which was like amazing. But like there's still hella DJs putting that out, and Bandcamp too. Bandcamp is great. Do you use Bandcamp at all?
Not as much. SoundCloud's my main.
There's a lot of stuff that gets taken down on SoundCloud that still works on Bandcamp, and you can support the artist better because you can like sell your music and edits and stuff there. But Bandcamp is definitely another cheat code for sure. But yeah, man, just try to keep an open eye, man. I just like music. Music is a thing you can't really explain it how you like something. It's just a feeling you feel, so
dude, that time you hear that like any song for the first time and you're just like, ooh.
Yeah,
I don't know what's better, the second time you listen to the song or the first time, because the first time's great, you're like, right. Ooh, okay,
yeah,
but then the second time you're like, no, this part, it's right. Gonna get good.
Yeah.
And then it just progressively might get like worse. Like the curve is like maybe third time is also really good.
Yeah.
Then it starts going down.
The worst feeling is when you Shazam something, maybe you're drunk or just like you're in a very euphoric moment, and then you go back and listen to it later the next day, and it's like
no. There's like drunk goggles for songs.
There might be. I've definitely like gone through my Shazams and been like, this did not hit like it did when I first heard it. But yeah.
Maybe it's like a specific part.
It could be a part of the song.
Could have been a part. Okay. Okay, so we gave you guys some game. I'm just going back to my notes to make sure we're getting everything. I don't know. I had a lot of fun with just breaking down the genres. One thing we'll go to is, you played a set at the Salt Shed recently for Lollapalooza, and that was
actually Everyday People.
Everyday People. So it was a Lala after party, but maybe just the same weekend.
Just same weekend. Yeah, it was. Last weekend was a lot for sure. Probably the biggest, definitely the biggest weekend of me as a DJ in my entire career.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So still riding the wave on that. Like timing out this podcast was right now was great. Thursday I played at Lala at like a small Bacardi kind of activation called Casa Bacardi, and then I did an after party that night with Global Currency. But then Sunday I played this party called Everyday People. It's probably one of the biggest day parties in America, and every time they come to Chicago they sell out the Salt Shed in a matter of what seems like minutes or hours or days. Like, it's very impressive. But this party started in New York like 10 or 15 years ago and has since become kind of like a global phenomenon. I got to close it out on Sunday at the Salt Shed, and I did that last year as well. So,
and there was like 4,000 people, like so odd people there.
Yeah,
just grooving.
Yeah, 4,000 people. I think it was definitely the biggest crowd I've ever played to for sure. Definitely. I've been rewatching all the videos on my phone like over and over again, just kind of reliving the moments of it all. It was like, very, very special day. Very grateful, honored to be a part of it. Just like, luckily I had a stage filled with people too, so I feel like if the stage wasn't around, like there were people on stage around me, it would feel definitely a lot more isolated, because I looked in the crowd, a lot of people weren't moving, but like the stage was going off. Like the energy on stage was just like, it was electric for sure.
It was like boiler room vibes.
It
like people are up there. And,
yep.
I mean, I know that this is a separate thing.
Yeah, for sure. But just the energy was there for sure.
Just for people who might not know what,
Yeah.
But when you got people on the stage with the crew next to you,
oh yeah,
it's a different vibe.
Oh yeah, it definitely helps a lot. I like having a few people. I like the homies around me hyping me up. It definitely goes a long way during the set for sure. For sure. Yeah. So music wise, you made a tweak that was like, you played so many different genres. I mean, yeah, it was like trap, juke, like a bunch of genres I don't know, like bouillon. Yeah. Or like soca. I don't know what those are, but you mix them in. Like, is BPM ever a concern for you? Man, that's a really good question. I'm glad you brought it up. But some more backstory about Everyday People. Like, it's a party that's definitely centered on like black music and black joy. And so, again, being a white DJ, being asked to play it is definitely an honor. So I knew, like, if I'm going to be invited to a space like this, I had to be basically as creative as I possibly could, and like, make it worthwhile, I guess, people's time to be there. And like I said, as a DJ, I am very much like all over the map and try to make things work. But that set was interesting. So the host of the party, DJ MoMA, he gave me a call earlier in the week. He gave me kind of like a rundown for the day about kind of how the DJ sets were going to work. So I was playing basically the last hour of a 6-hour day party. So my biggest concern doing this was repeating songs, or because that's always a big pet peeve for me. And so luckily I did it last year, so I kind of knew what to expect. But MoMA gave me the rundown of the day. He's like, I'm going to start out kind of vibey, playing like Afro beats, some Amapiano, and then some like classic hip hop. And then Sky Jetta's gonna go on. She's gonna go crazy and like juke and footwork and probably like trap and like big 2022 big current hits. And then DJ Khalib is gonna go right before me, play a super high energy like Chicago rap drill kind of hip hop classic set, and then it's going to set up for you, which was me, for the last hour to basically do whatever you want. So MoMA kind of gave me the free reins to basically do whatever I want. And yeah, all the music you listed there are like all like Afro diasporic dance music, I'd say, and like that's, you know, a big part of the party is like basically highlighting Black culture, Black music. And so yeah, prepping the set was definitely fun. I do have a funny story about that whole set actually, and how I got that whole thing together. So I wanted to play all those genres to begin with. I didn't want to stick to one genre. Also, I knew the DJs before me were going to play a lot of rap, so I didn't really want to. I knew it was going to be taken care of. So anything else was basically free game to me. So I put a bunch of songs in a crate of all different genres and stuff, and then I was like trying to figure out how I wanted to approach it. Because Amapiano has become a big sound of my style as a DJ lately, I knew I had to play Amapiano during the party, because I knew also the DJs before me weren't going to play much of it either. So I was like, how do I incorporate this in a way that makes sense? So I basically started the set with like Afro beats and dance hall hits. I played a lot of Burna Boy. I played like Vybz Kartel, who is this big Jamaican artist who was recently released from prison after like 13 years being locked up. And that was a big deal. No DJ had played any Vybz Kartel all day, so I was like, we have to play some Vybz Kartel. BPM wise, I'm at like 100 BPM. I'm like working my way up, and Amapiano's in like the 113 BPM zone. So I'm like, how do I go from the 100s to the 113 zone? So I'm like trying to figure this out. And then my roommate, Travis, knocks on my door. It's probably 2 hours before leaving the party. And he's like singing along. And he's like, yo, is there an Amapiano version of Billie Jean by Michael Jackson? And there is actually. There's a remix by this South African producer named Ice Beat Slide. And it's like probably one of my favorite Amapiano remixes, and I completely had forgotten about it. And he's like, yo, you should like, and I was like, a matter of fact, there is. And I showed him that. He's like, this is dope. And he's like, yo, you should play the original Michael Jackson into this. And I was like, okay. So I was like sitting on my computer, matching keys, matching BPMs. And like amazingly enough, like I like figured out a way to basically go from like soul and funk, like that kind of like 70s Michael Jackson vibe. And then I use that as like my pivot into my Amapiano set, which is like the middle chunk of the set. And so, yeah, I went from this, probably the best one of my favorite transitions I've ever done as a DJ was because of my roommate Travis, and I executed it perfectly at the party. Seeing people's heads turn, because I'm like, people are kind of grooving, they're doing their like Michael Jackson dance to it, like doom 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 doom. They're doing kind of layout, that kind of stepping. All the dances are in their like 70s like groovy funky vibe, and then all of a sudden, like right after the chorus, it goes into this like Amapiano remix. So you start hearing whistles, you start hearing the log drums. It's like this crazy heavy percussion. Like heads start turning, people start sprinting to the front of the stage. This girl Jay, who was one of the dancers for Everyday People, runs to the very front and just puts on a clinic of a show, like dancing to this. And it was like, I feel like people's heads didn't even know how to react to it, and like it got just the reaction that I wanted to. Because I was like, me and my roommate were going insane in my apartment earlier in the day, like, yo, this is crazy. And I was like, I just hope this gets to the same reaction that translates right to a bigger crowd. And then that launched me into like a 15-minute Amapiano section of my set, where I could like really like showcase that sound. And then I close it out with like those other genres, like really fast BPM, like soca and boyoon. That's all like Caribbean music. So that was like like 170, 180 BPM, super fast, and that mixes with juke really well. It's like juke and footwork is all like 160 BPM as well.
It's quick.
So I ended it very fast. So yeah, long story short, I'm super proud of my set. That moment though, going from Michael Jackson into the Amapiano portion was like, because I wanted to find a creative way to bring it into Amapiano that didn't seem obvious. And so yeah, man, I was like, I definitely relived that moment for sure a lot.
That is dope. I wish I was there, or I want to see footage.
I have videos.
Give
from
me
multiple
footage.
angles.
Yeah.
I can show you after the podcast or whatever.
Yeah.
You can put this up. But I'm like, I still got to go through all the videos from that day. But I have like 50 videos that I'm gonna like stitch together into like a reel of like the best moments. But yeah, I almost want to make my own reel just for that transition. But yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, people's dance moves change without even realize. Like this dude Tight, who's one of the DJs for Everyday People, like he was, like I said, in his like Michael Jackson bag, dancing in that way, and then his body started moving. I could tell before he even really realized what was going on. It was just, yeah.
Wow,
the reaction
that's
was just
amazing
priceless.
that you're seeing it, because it's like, oh, it's in the arms, then all of a sudden it gets into the hips. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh wait, where are we now? Like,
yeah. It's like it's probably the best like pre-planned transition that like went exactly how I wanted to. Probably even more. Yeah.
Did you get the like, you did a good job from the coordinators of Everyday People?
Yeah. No,
they were like, yes, you did the job.
You did the job. Yeah. One of the dancers, all the dancers gave me love. This was my second or third time playing with them. So they kind of already knew how I come as a DJ. But yeah, got a lot of great feedback from them and MoMA. MoMA's like a personal DJ hero for me. Like he was the one who put me on Amapiano. This is his party. So to play with him in general, play his premiere party is like I said, definitely a dream come true situation. But yeah, definitely got a lot of good feedback. Yeah, definitely one big one.
This is going to be an interesting topic, and I kind of feel like sometimes I think about this for myself. You said before that this is predominantly like black music. I don't know what the term was. You said it was
like if we're talking about like Afro-diasporic, like music coming
diasporic. Okay,
from African diaspora, basically.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there ever a stigma for you to play like the type of genre? Or do you ever feel like this could be perceived as some kind of appropriation? I mean, obviously you go to one of your shows and you're spinning and everyone's having a great time, so like immediately you see that, or a bystander would see that and be like, nah, this guy knows what's up.
Sure.
But is there ever like a I don't know, like,
oh yeah, definitely, for sure. I'm definitely like trying to remain cognizant of like my place and position in whenever I do occupy these spaces, and invited into these like intentionally like black or African spaces. And yeah, the question of appropriation has been brought up to me before. I view it as a DJ as a way of like celebrating and platforming what I find to be very beautiful music that I think the world should know about and different communities all over should know about. I think in general with art, like, and music, like, it is meant to be shared. I don't think any of these artists want their music to be kind of kept within insular spaces, but I can completely understand people from the outside seeing what I do and feeling a certain type of way about it, knowing that is a crazy history of appropriation by white people of black music. I think it's a little bit different as a DJ because you're sort of like presenting it in a way. I think it's important too as a DJ to know your history, like learn the history of it, learn about the innovators of it, listen to the creators of it, try to platform other black artists who are on the forefront of those sounds as well. And I think if you're producing that kind of music, you definitely have to do your due diligence of really learning the sound intimately before like releasing stuff on it. There's been times where I want to produce Amapiano. I've put out some like blends that are literally just like Amapiano, pre-existing Amapiano beats with acapellas, but I'm hesitant to like release that kind of music, because there's also a lot of really bad half-assed Amapiano music out on SoundCloud by like non-South African producers that is just like garbage.
Like you just go to Splice, Amapiano, and grab
Literally, exactly.
the loop, and then
Totally. And a lot of it is looped stuff, and like there's definitely a formula to it for sure that you can follow, but I can tell almost instantly when an Amapiano track, for example, is like made by someone, whether you're South African or just someone who really knows the genre, versus someone who like is just kind of like half-assing their way through it. So yeah, that's my take on it. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't really think about this stuff that much, but I just know that other people might be concerned about it, or that things might look a certain way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think honestly, you always just got to get the kind of the head nod, the cosign from the people that are into it, that like, okay, this guy cares about it. This isn't just like a means for him to like make money or whatever. Like, he's into it. You know what I mean? And sometimes there's this little bit of like proving yourself to get in there, and obviously you have the credentials, like you're way past that point.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, and I feel proud enough of my resume and the people I've worked with to kind of, and if you come to my sets in person, I think that's another difference. Obviously, they see the optics, from afar, and they can make their opinions, which is completely valid. But ideally, if you come to my set, you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. And I've also had this conversation with like DJ MoMA from Everyday People. When he first booked me for it last year, I brought it up to him because, like, again, this is definitely probably the premier black day party in America, and I brought it up. Are you guys comfortable inviting a white DJ to headline your party? And MoMA, who's in his 40s, been DJing for decades, was like, we hit you up because you're a good DJ, and a good DJ, we don't think about that like that way. You kill it, and in that sense. So
see, that's the best.
Yeah,
because that's where it should be at. But we got a lot of people who maybe like they're new. They haven't, I don't know. When you're new like that, you got to do your research, like you were saying. Like, obviously, if you're making a genre, like, you don't have to know really anything about it, in the sense that like you could still make cool music with it. Yeah. But I feel like there is a time and place to go back and learn kind of the lineage. I feel like it just makes you more well versed.
For sure. Totally. And my selection wise, like I play, like I said, like I don't just play obvious songs. Like I feel like if I just played like super basic obvious like song, like music, like black music, then it would be like, it would just come across very lazy. But like, yeah, I think the amount of work I do in like preparing my sets and like intentionally creating a vibe, I think ideally should speak for itself. And yeah, I think that's what people notice about it too. So yeah, it just comes with care, and the whole like, capitalizing on this whole thing too. It's like, I don't make much money DJing either. So it's like, I mean, it'd be one thing if I was like making millions off this, but like, I really, again, music is just an intense passion for me, and I like what I like, and I just am fully committed on it. So
I also just love the optics of it too. It's like predominantly black crowd, and then you're just up there rocking it, and everyone's like, fuck yeah, this is sick. You know what I mean? I feel like that in itself kind of breaks down a wall.
It is very special for sure. And yeah, that's definitely a good way to put it for sure. And like, again, yeah, like this music, it really is for everybody, Exactly.
I don't know. I felt like a little bit of apprehension asking you this question, because I was just like,
no, I'm happy you brought it up. It is something I like internalize a lot as I get booked, and I think as I've grown as an artist, it becomes a bigger thing, and like the more eyes on me, the more this kind of thing is going to be brought up by people in that community. So it's just something I'm going to forever have to, navigate myself around. And ideally, when they meet me as a person or get to know me as an artist, they can see a different side. But again, the optics, are the optics, and, white people basically created racism. So, like it really is our fault for this whole thing. Racism to be like this conversation to be had, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So like, yeah, it's just this is the society we live in, thanks to, hundreds of years of oppression and appropriation. So, but yeah, overall, I do think, yeah, music is an escape, and I think anyone can enjoy any sounds, and that's what really makes it beautiful. Is it does break down these like intense, barriers between cultures and societies that, yeah, it's really beautiful. There's so much division in the world, and it does help bring people together.
That's what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
where I get a little bent out of shape when people are a little bit like,
Right.
nah, you can't enjoy this or
Yeah.
something because you're not part of the culture. It's like, dude, it's still cool. Like,
For sure.
you know?
And not to mention, like, black people invented basically every genre of dance
Yeah,
music
like
ever.
anything that's groovy / has rhythm.
Yeah, literally. So it's like, yeah. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
And also, I just wanted to put one cherry on top, which is, you said before that when MoMA came to you, you were like, is this fine? You're already thinking about it. You already understand, you're conscious about it, thinking about that. So I
Right.
think that, like, if you were just blissfully unaware, it'd be a different thing.
Definitely.
But
definitely.
you definitely understand your place
sure.
in the whole thing. So
Yeah.
anyway, we could wrap up this
No, you're
section
good.
of the
That's-
convo. But what else we got here? I got just genres and genres. Let's see. Oh, you know what I wanted to bring up too? Because like Afro beats, I feel like Afro beats is like the blanket term for like a lot of the music that you play. Like someone would be like, oh, it's like Afro beats or
Yeah.
something because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
super popular. But yeah, is that like, does that encompass a lot of like, would Afro beats be the umbrella term for Amapiano? Like, would that be in there, or like, what's the hierarchy here?
That is actually a really good question, and a conversation that is being had within like African Afrobeats community. But yeah, I would say Afrobeats and Amapiano are separate for sure. I will say, so Afrobeats, I would say in general, like a lot of it is being produced in West Africa, namely like Nigeria and Ghana. And so a lot of Afrobeats you hear in the Western world, whether it's like in the UK or United States or wherever DJs are playing it, it's a lot of like, Nigerian pop music. It's like Afro pop is another term to describe it, but
Okay.
yeah, I describe it just as like, feel good, dance, dancing is a big part of it, of course, as well. But Amapiano has definitely infiltrated, the Amapiano sound has definitely infiltrated West Africa and Nigeria as well. Like there's been a whole kind of
Fusion.
fusion. Yeah, great point, because there's actually a general genre called Afro fusion that people use, I think, to describe that kind of sound, or just kind of like Afro pop music in general. So there's a lot of words to describe it. But
That's where I get held up, is that there's a lot of terms, and I'm like, I don't want to be mislabeling shit. Although genres in a general sense are kind of
oh, definitely. No,
whatever.
yeah, pigeonholing sound and like you have to have a way to describe certain things and certain sounds, but I think genre as a concept is definitely flawed in its own sense. But Amapiano has had a huge impact in Afrobeat sound, like specifically like Nigerian music. Like the biggest Nigerian artist right now arguably is this guy named Ashake, and his whole album is almost all like 2-minute versions of Amapiano beats mixed with like so
Not the long ones that you were talking about.
Right,
The
yeah.
honking 12-minuters.
correct. These are more like, yeah, ready for the club. You're in and out.
Gotcha.
You got a verse, you got a chorus, you got a verse, you got a chorus. It's like 3 minutes. The log drums are coming in by like the first minute, maybe 45 seconds in. But yeah, was a big testament to how big that Amapiano has gone, is in the way it's influenced Afrobeats. And a lot of Afrobeats purists feel a certain type of way of like, man, get this log drum out of my sound, So yeah, that's been an interesting like kind of conversation being had right now.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. It's just, that's like kind of the term. We got people like Childish Gambino or something making like an Afrobeat type of whatever, and
Oh yeah,
it's
huge.
just very popular. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So I want to bring that up. All right. We'll go adjacent.
Sure.
We'll go to clubs in Chicago. What's like favorite club, best vibes, like favorite place to DJ?
Yeah, man.
Those might be different places.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of really amazing venues in Chicago. I am going to be impartial and say Sleeping Village, mainly because it's where I do my global currency party at. You know, there's a lot of factors that go into a good nightclub. I think for me, sound and sound system is like very, very, very high up there for me. I'd rather have a great sound system that's a little bit more in the cut than play like downtown and like a shit sound system.
Are we talking about like River North? Like
I don't touch River North.
You don't touch them. Yeah.
I do my best to stay far, far away from River North. Yeah.
What's the general? Is it that it's just like this clubby nature that you're just not super into? Is it like?
Yeah, I mean, so many of these clubs nowadays, especially in River North, are like, you know, whatever bottle service nightclubs. So it's like there's really no dance floor. There's just couches everywhere. The main incentive of the venue is to make as much money as possible by selling as much bottles as possible.
For sure.
You basically are playing to an extremely unappreciative crowd who doesn't really care about music. They just care about getting drunk and you know, flexing and throwing money in the air or whatever. And yeah, it's just you can't really control that crowd or like really curate your own vibe at a spot like that, because it's just like it just draws in whoever. And yeah, it's
a money making venture mostly.
Absolutely. And so yeah, I'd rather curate my own events and bring in my own people. And yeah, I tell people I'd rather play to like 20 of my own fans and followers and appreciators than like 500 just randos.
Yeah, dude.
I play for randos. I will not play for randos anymore if I don't have to.
I feel like it's, you know, good to kind of pick apart what it is about like River North and that area and general clubs that, you know, you don't like. Because for me, I saw a meme the other day that was like, you know, clubbers versus ravers. And I was kind of like, for a long time when I was growing up, I was like, that's kind of all the same thing. But really, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of delineations between what people actually like. Like, if you're going to a club and you're listening to music, but it's a type of place where it's like everything's so expensive and the type of music, it's like just tech house or something.
Right.
Nothing against tech house. There's
something against tech house.
There's good tech house, but it's just
send me the
a lot of it.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
You know, like I felt like for a while that I was like, oh, I don't like going to the club. Like you know, I used to love this type of music. I love electronic music. Like,
right.
You know, what is it that I don't like? And it's all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But then there are other places where it doesn't feel like that, and you can still listen to, you know, types of music that you like. It just doesn't have all the baggage.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
I think the key is also to like not rely on the venue as where you go and just follow the DJs you like. You know, you know, if you're going out to enjoy music.
Like if Mochi's playing, he already shows a good spot that he likes. So
right,
we're
exactly. You're in good hands because it's going to be a trusted venue, ideally, and you know, ideally you get a good set, hopefully.
Yeah.
But that's definitely been a cheat code. But yeah, other venues like Sleeping Village, also their owners also own the Whistler. I don't know if you've been to the Whistler in Logan Square.
Yeah.
Very dope, intimate space. I would love to play there more often. It's just a little bit. If it held like 100 more people, I would have a residency there in a heartbeat. But it's like it holds like 150 people, so usually there's like a line already by like 10:15, 10:30, and it's like it's
great for exclusivity.
It is
like, dude, it's the spot.
Yeah, I tell people get there before 9 p.m. But like the energy there, not to overuse the term boiler room effect, but like you got you're set up on stage. People can be on stage with you. Got the red lights. The sound system is amazing. They got great cocktails. There's a little patio in the back with their own little bar. Like they kind of nailed the whole experience, and they book really dope. Variety of DJs as well. Crowd is usually pretty open-minded too. You don't have to worry about like catering to them or pandering to them. So yeah, Whistler is an amazing spot. There needs to be more spots like that. But yeah, Sleeping Village is definitely special because obviously I host my global currency event there, and that's like its own separate animal.
You ever Clipper or like any
Clipper? Big fan.
Good.
Love the Clipper. Yeah,
I've never been, but
Really?
it's mostly because I've gone and it's just like crowded. I'm just like, shit, I can't. Not tonight.
No, big fan of the Clipper. They do also great curation there. There's like, yeah, very sexy, red lit kind of vibe, very old building. And then in the very back, they've had a small dance room with a great sound system. And like, they also book great DJs.
What about Podlache?
Podlache's great. I love Podlache. Yeah.
So these are
you're
the reason I'm asking is because
Yeah.
these are two places where people are like, you got to go, and I'm just like,
Yeah. Have you
have
not been?
not gone for some reason. Don't know why.
No, it's yeah. Podlache is great. Podlache is great. It's like owned by these Polish couple. I think the venue's been around for decades, but it recently kind of got a revamp in the last couple of years. And it's become this like haven for house techno. I'd say they definitely lean more house techno overall. There's a couple like global clubby 5 nights they do there. I threw a couple Amapiano events there in last year. But yeah, insane sound system, really dope, like dimly lit back room. Feels like a rave for sure.
We'll talk about global currency, but before we get there, let's go to tour life and some other cities where I don't know, you just enjoy playing. They have like maybe an open mind to certain types of music, or maybe they have a very specific type of genre that they want to hear, and
right.
you're there for that too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I've been fortunate enough to be able to like travel more in the last like couple years. First few out of town gigs I did were maybe back in 2018, 2019. I'll go to New York and LA just because I had friends there already, and that's where a lot of like DJs and events go on. So it's like I had some friends put me on some parties there. But yeah, I would say my favorite cities have to be Toronto, New York, and I did an event in Orlando randomly, and I don't think this speaks for the whole city,
right?
But the event I did called Chicken and Beer, shout out Jalisa, shout out Etiquette. They brought me out there at the end of May, and it was easily one of my favorite parties I've ever done. The most wildly open-minded crowd I've ever seen before. I was playing all types of genres. Everyone was eating it up. Energy was through the roof, dancing, just like screaming the lyrics. Like, it was probably the most open-minded crowd I've ever played to. And after that, everything's felt like, luckily I've done some fun events after, luckily, but that put me on a high for a very long time. So if you're looking for a fun time in Orlando, check them out. But Toronto, I keep coming back to every year, at least once or twice. I went first 2 years ago and have gone back twice every year since. We've done global currency events out there. But yeah, Toronto reminds me sort of like a cousin of Chicago. It's like right on the lake as well. Pretty similar population as well. I think it's even bigger than Chicago, actually. Very multicultural, very international, a lot more like integrated city as well. Chicago obviously is known for being very segregated. Whereas Toronto, you walk down the street, you see like South Asian people, Caribbean people, like people from all over the world all coexisting together. But there is a very prominent Caribbean population out there. So whenever I get to go out there, I get to play more like of that kind of music, soca, dancehall, bouillon, and get way better reactions out there than I do in Chicago just because of the sheer population numbers. But yeah, great food, great DJ scene. There's some amazing parties in Toronto. Shout out Caruza, shout out See You Later, shout out. I have like, someone asked me the other day for like list of Toronto DJs to check out, and I end up sending them like a list of like 10 different DJs. But yeah, just a very unique culture, and like also very open-minded as well. Parties 7 days of the week. So yeah.
Someone told me that they invented clubbing. Or
Toronto?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it was Toronto.
Wow.
There's a couple other cities
I'm curious.
in Canada. But yeah, it was like that. No, it was not clubbing. I'm sorry. Spin that back. Bottle service.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay, I'll just take that for what it is and just repeat it on my podcast.
Did you look it up? Any research?
No.
Yeah.
For sure. It's fine.
Check Google on that one.
Yeah. I just spouting lies.
Yeah. Yeah, I do know that like there is like a bottle service scene too that people talk about over there, but I also try to avoid it. I think every major city at this point has that at this point. So
yeah.
You just got to avoid it.
Yeah, you just got to find those niche locals, not locals only, but like locals only vibes where you kind of got to know.
Definitely.
That's the best stuff. I mean,
Definitely.
in my opinion.
All you need really is like 2 to 4 DJs or parties, and you're just in good hands to like to follow, at that point. And then you're just like, that's all you need.
when we have so many in Chicago, it's
Yeah.
it's too many.
No, it's
I mean, there really can never be too many, but sometimes it feels like, damn, I can't hit it all,
Right.
type of deal.
no, for sure.
But yeah, let's talk about global currency, because I don't want to, not do that. We're probably pretty deep already. But yeah, let's go to the origin story of that. How did it start? What are your lofty ambitions for that? What's happening now?
Yeah, for sure. So, Global Currency is a party I started with my friend DJ Iggy. We started together in 2020. He and I first DJed together in 2019, and we soon realized we had a very similar approaches to our sound and just DJing in general and curation and promotion. And all that. We saw eye to eye very early on. He and I both really into like remix culture, SoundCloud culture, global club dance culture, music from all over the world, all that type of thing. So the idea must have, I think we started as we did one event at Soho House in September 2020 when things were like kind of reopening during the pandemic, but like they had super strict, like people had to sit down, people had to wear masks. So like I honestly don't count that one as the first one per se, but it really became as a Twitch live stream. So I was doing a little bit of live streaming on my own and kind of figuring out all the tech behind that and using different streaming softwares and getting to know
OBS.
shout out OBS.
Yeah.
I see you got OBS over here, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, cool.
Yeah.
And so I had all the time in the world to really kind of build that out. And once, I'm pretty sure it was like once a month starting in like September, October in 2020, Iggy and I would go on a live stream. It'd either be just us two or we'd also bring in a guest DJ. We would film sets in our apartment in Little Village. Started out maybe, first few streams, you get like maybe 10 viewers, but by maybe, I think we did like about 6 months of Twitch streaming, we were like hitting like 40, 50 consistent streamers each time, which doesn't sound like much, but like
No, that feels good.
at a time when you weren't playing to anybody at all, like just seeing that number up there like definitely meant a lot. And then Blind Barber brought us in. We were actually doing live streams from inside Blind Barber, which started to feel like an upgrade because like we were in the DJ booth in a club and live streaming, so it kind of felt more and more like we were getting closer to being outside and like in a real nightlife scenario. And so that was cool. And then once things started seemingly fully open in 2021-ish, we started doing events at Blind Barber, me, Iggy, and a guest DJ, and we would pack it out. Blind Barber is a very small venue, probably holds like maybe 200, 180 max. And yeah, we would pack it out by like 10:30 ish early on in the night, and we just outgrew it very quickly. Iggy and I also both had our own followings going into this already that we were kind of combining as well, so things were definitely developing quickly. And then at the end of 2021, Iggy had a person he knew who worked at Red Bull, and so we reached out to Red Bull and pitched an idea of getting funding from them to help support the party. And we also reached out. I was also doing parties at the Whistler, who also owns Sleeping Village, which is a music venue in Avondale that holds about like 500 people. And we were ready to make that next step up of basically, starting to go from a free event at a basically behind a barbershop to a ticketed event at a music venue. So we made the pivot there, and it's just really been insane to see it grow. We've been able to book DJs from all over the world, artists and DJs that we've looked up to, that edit the remixers and producers of that we've played in our parties, bringing them in. It's been like amazing to see. And it's just really all been very organic. We haven't had any like viral moments or anything that's like put us on. It's really just all been word of mouth and just been like going at it. And it's also, we don't do it monthly either. We only do about 5 to 6 per year at Sleeping Village. And then what we do, like we'll do pop-ups or like we'll go into play other cities like between those times. So our formula right now has been working really well. Selling 500 tickets for a dance party, no matter how big you are, is a lot of work. Especially knowing, people aren't trying to, in this economy, aren't trying to pay as much nowadays. But
well, there's so many free events,
and there's also so many free events, and still so many people don't know about Sleeping Village, and it blows my mind. Like, this is an amazing venue.
It's the sleeper.
It's a sleeper.
But people know about it. But like, how long has it been open? Is it like post-COVID or?
I think maybe right before COVID it opened.
Okay,
I mean, like
okay.
2018, 2019 it opened. So it's
People
not
are telling me about it all the time.
Yeah.
But that's obviously, we're in the music scene. It's a little bit different. People are telling you about shows all the time. But like, I have yet to go.
Oh man, you got to come through.
I have had opportunities.
Yeah.
And just
They book
don't know what happened.
cool like indie bands a lot during the week. They do the slow mo party there as well, which is like a famous like queer dance party that's been going on for years. They do that there, but it's got everything. You walk in, there's like this beautiful front bar. Amazing, drink list, and then there's a big patio too. So if you want to get fresh air, you can go hang out on the patio, grab a smoke. Sometimes we do food pop-ups up there where we'll get like someone to come in and make tacos or whatever.
Very nice.
And then in the back there's like a music room with like amazing sound system. We have a stage. We're all up on stage. We hire dancers to dance with us as well. Shout out Bobby, shout out Kula. They've been working with us for the last year or two. They bring crazy energy on stage. They hype up the crowd. It's really just like an experience like you really have to go to experience. And it's, you definitely, like I said, come with an open mind, because if you're expecting to hear one or two genres all night, and that's not what you're gonna get. If you want people, you're gonna hear Afro beats, you're gonna hear Amapiano, you're gonna hear these things, but you're also gonna hear ballet funk from Brazil. You're gonna hear probably some house music, maybe some juke music. Like, we like bridging the gap between Chicago and the world. And yeah, it's been really the joy of my life working with Iggy and like seeing it grow and grow. Where we sold out New Year's, we sold out 2 or 3 events this year. We brought arguably our biggest artist, Jules, who's one of the biggest Afrobeats producers in the world, to our June event, and that was crazy.
Wow. That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I can go all day about it, but yeah, it's
Is global currency, is that like almost like another name for music? It's the global currency.
you nailed it, bro.
Something
I
like
you.
that?
I
Yeah,
like
something
you. You
like
got
that.
this one right. You
I was
didn't get the
thinking I
Mochi
was-
one right, but you got this one right. Yeah, it really is. Iggy and I were trying to come up with like a catchy name, and like I think that's what it came. I think we just liked the sound of it at first, and then I think we added meaning after it. But yeah, exactly it. It's like, yeah, music and dance is like the currency that connects the world. So
Yeah, no, hell yeah. I'm kind of curious about the logistics of getting people who are from around the world into the ecosystem of, global currency, and like kind of, making them aware of it and then getting them out here. It's, it costs money. It takes time to make the connection potentially. You got to be like legit, I guess.
yeah, totally. No, it's been a very interesting process, and really fun too, the curation of like booking the lineups and whatnot. But yeah, I think the quote unquote like global club music DJ world is relatively like small and niche in a way on a global scale, where like if you're in that world, you are kind of aware of like the bigger artists, and like a lot of these artists also like want to play in the United States and want to play parties that fit their sound. So like we try to reach out to them well in advance and try to book the lineups months and months ahead. Especially, we also try to get them when they're already in the continent, like continental North America.
Yeah,
or
because like
something.
getting visas and stuff
Yeah.
is.
But yeah, no, we certainly have to. That's our biggest, like, we pay for videographer, photographer, dancers, video.
Dude, the video at Sleeping Village for one of your videos is like pristine.
Yeah.
It looks so good. I was like, dang.
Like one of the recaps.
Yeah.
No, shout out Film, man. He kills it every time. Super nice guy. We've been working with him from day one. So yeah, I mean, all that's really, really important for building the party. And just in this day and age, like, just content is king. And like, we just joined TikTok. We hired someone to run our social media now. So we're now
That's
like,
the dream, baby.
yeah, I know, man. I was running the GC social account and my own account for like a couple years, and it was exhausting to say the least. So like, it's definitely an investment. Like, we're, making definitely less money now because of it, but we look at it as like a long-term investment, of course. We know we're only going to get bigger, but it's also very important. We just joined TikTok. So our social media person, Melody, shout out Melody, has been doing that for us, and it's been great. But yeah, our biggest expense always is definitely the sort of out of town DJ. We always basically it's basically me and Iggy as the hosts. We book a local opener as the opener DJ. We have them play from like 10 to 11:30. We usually play a playlist at 9 because like people are still showing up to the party. We want to make sure the opener gets like still a crowd. It's still kind of light by 10.
Yeah.
Crowd shows up late too. So 10:45, 11, it's almost full, and so our opener still gets some shine. Iggy and I will go on usually in that middle part, or maybe sandwich the headliner. And then we'll have the headliner go on. We usually book a DJ from out of town to put people on, artists we look up to. We've had artists from the UK's, producer named Mina, who brought her friend who's a rapper from Ghana named Bright. They put on a great show. Man, we've had like Foreigner, a Caribbean DJ from LA. He's definitely one of the most memorable DJ sets. That was January of 2023. I mean, there really hasn't been a flop event. Every DJ has, that's what I've been really happy about, is that like our instincts of these people we book have always like come correct. Everyone's been great people. But yeah, it definitely costs to like bring them out, put them up in a hotel, pay them their fee. So, but
it sounds like you're doing all the proper things.
Yeah, we definitely, I feel like, nailed the formula, but it's definitely a lot of work. Iggy and I mean, I feel like he texted me 5 times during this conversation already, because it's literally constantly, there's always something we could be doing. Whether promotion, like it's basically me and Iggy run the whole event, and we just recently got like a production assistant to help out like at the parties themselves to like coordinate just like general housekeeping things during the event. But we don't really have a manager or like anyone else or an agent that's like doing any of the booking. All the emailing and all the coordination of all the media and dancers and stuff is all me and Iggy, and that we split up. And it's definitely a lot of work. We're on FaceTime at least once a day, maybe twice a day sometimes. So it's a labor of love, of course, but we're a really good team. We see eye to eye on almost anything. We haven't gone in like any arguments over anything.
That's awesome. Like finding a good partner like that. And I also have this theory that like nowadays, when you can do so much as a single person, it's like I feel like teams are just going to get more tight knit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And having like another guy is so crucial.
Definitely. Like I obviously I wouldn't be able to do this alone, and with him it definitely helps. Like he's got a really good eye for like the visual design of like our flyers. We definitely put a lot of intention in that. We work with our friend Steven, who does designs a lot of our flyers. So Iggy's very on top of that side of things. I think my journalism degree helps me with a lot of the emailing. I'm very good at like, greetings, and I hope your Monday is off to a great start.
Yeah.
Inquiring about you coming to Chicago to play our party Global Currency. Here's our EPK, yada, 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 yada.
Yeah. What's EPK? Is that like your stats, basically?
It's like a press kit, electronic press kit. Okay. So just like who we are, who we worked with, sponsors, all that stuff, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, gotcha.
But so yeah, I feel like I'm good at the communication side, and I can be a little crazy in that side too. But so yeah, we both have kind of our own roles. But yeah, as we get bigger, it definitely would be nice to have like one other person to help kind of manage these things, because at the end of the day, you know, we really just want to be DJs and play the party.
For sure.
It's all worth it.
Do you guys do it in other cities? Like I heard you said Toronto, you were doing something like that. Like how expansive can it get? I mean, like, does it?
Yeah, so we've done global currency events, or we also sometimes get booked as global currency as like
a duo,
guest DJ duo. So we'll maybe play an hour set together, B2B, or maybe like an hour and a half, like 45 each type deal. But we've been booked as global currency or thrown our own party in LA, Houston, Toronto, New York. We haven't done Miami. San Francisco was a lot of fun. Love Supreme brought us out there. Shout out Love Supreme crew.
Nice.
That was a really, really fun time. But all of them has been amazing. We worked with No Nuzzer, who was like this amazing like South Asian DJ collective. Definitely check them out. We brought them to Chicago for our 2-year anniversary, and then they brought us out to LA. They have really blown up. They basically mix Amapiano with like Pakistani and Indian music. Definitely check them out. They're insane.
That sounds dope. I got a lot of homework. Every time I do these, I'm just like, I have a lot of homework to do.
That's beautiful.
But it's good, yeah.
But no, we've taken those cities, and Toronto multiple times. But yeah, we definitely have our sights set on, you know, a full global takeover, if you will. Iggy was just in Japan.
Yeah.
He played a couple sets in Japan and met some amazing people out there. So he wants to take GC out there. I'm down. Crowds in Japan are super open. So Asia next year would be amazing. Definitely want to hit up Europe. I played in Europe for the first time last year just by myself, and made some great connections out there. So hitting cities like London, Amsterdam, Berlin, Portugal. We have a friend Xavier who lives in Lisbon now. Portugal, there's amazing
I'm actually like where because I'm gonna be in Portugal. Like
Oh, cool.
I wanna go somewhere that's cool.
Yeah.
That's like not just like a club. That's I mean I think just being there is probably gonna be cool. But
Yeah, yeah. I don't know much. I haven't been either. But I can certainly ask my friends.
yeah, give me a connect.
I can
Just because like another beautiful thing about this and just working on a project in general is the potential for travel in my eyes. Like I've been able to travel to some festivals and just like it's just so cool in that sense to be able to meet people around the world through this vehicle.
It's so cool. Like it's like I don't even have the words to describe.
Like DJing and Global Currents, you got both those. Those are both vehicles. Like, yeah.
Exactly. Whether it's with GC or whether it's my own thing, like already I have to pinch myself sometimes because like already being able to do this as my job is like it literally is a dream come true. I mean, growing up, I didn't dream about being a DJ. This sort of happened in like, more like early 20s, but still like I never, ever expected this to like take me where I have. And the fact that like literally the songs, the way I position songs and the songs I choose, that skill alone has taken me to all these cities and introduced me to all these like amazing people and all these like amazing friendships I've built in these cities. And like I feel like I have like family and friends in all parts of at least America. I haven't really explored a lot of the rest of the world yet. That's the next step. The global takeover is next. But for now, yeah, no, it really is like indescribably like beautiful, being able to travel. And I suggest everyone doing it. When I had my day job and was DJing, and was like less, maybe known as a DJ, I still would go. And like, even if you don't make much money and if you have that, support from like your day job, for example, like I highly recommend any DJ or artist or, producer, like podcast producer or whatever. Yeah. Just to go out and travel, and like see more of the world. Cause like, yeah, there's just like, it's vast, man. There's like so much more, even I mean, Chicago in itself is so big. Like there's parts of the city, like, I don't know, just taking the step back and zooming out, like even within North America, it's there's like America itself is already such a like crazy multicultural place with different regional vibes. So it's like, yeah, being able to just explore America through music is very fascinating. I can only imagine what it's like to like go to real other countries too. And so, yeah, that's really what makes it so beautiful.
No, it's really cool. I just feel like, it's really easy to just be stuck in your day to day and be like, ugh. But when you go somewhere, you're just like, wow, people are different.
Yeah, like I said, even if like whenever I would go to New York or LA, like I wouldn't make money. Like I'll sometimes still end up in the negative. Like I would crash at people's homes, but like, that planting those seeds early on helped me kind of like eventually grow and stuff. So viewing it as like a long-term thing and rather an overnight thing. But
that's how I was thinking about it too.
Yeah,
you definitely end up losing some money.
Totally.
In the start.
Absolutely. But no, the experience is like it's literally priceless. I mean, what is there to say?
Yeah. You go to a different city and you got someone there, so much better than not having anyone. You're just like, maybe have a place to stay, maybe. And then also like maybe like a tour guide if they're nice. I don't know.
No, that's what was crazy about Orlando, or like I would hit up New York and LA was common for me because like I had friends out there, so I would play a set and I'd always have at least a handful of people there. And the more I kept going, the more I'd kind of start building like a following around there. But like going to places where no one knows who you are is definitely another experience. Where like, what do people like out here? It's like, it's
where
interesting.
Do I go? Yo, Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also fun playing like Chicago music in other cities, like playing like juke and footwork in other cities and getting. I think 9 times out of 10 you'll get like people have no idea what the hell is going on.
How do I move my body?
What is this like insanity? But
I mean, I still don't know how to move like that.
I mean, yeah, it's so fast.
So fast. Yeah, it's like a workout in itself.
I usually just end up like shaking violently. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I honestly just sit back and watch the people that are good at dancing. Exactly. I'm just like, dude, you're going crazy.
Totally.
It's amazing.
No, it's insane.
Let's see if there's anything else that we need to cover here. Do you play a lot of vinyl?
That's a great question. Yes, man. My start, I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but my start as a DJ was all vinyl. That's how I learned to DJ, was on vinyl. So yeah, I through my dad's record collection, I got into it and started collecting records. And then I would actually throw like vinyl house parties in college. Like when I tell people about my DJ origin story, it sounds like I grew up in like 1994, but I was like 2013, 12. But I mean, musically too, I was really into like soul and disco and funk. And like I was into hip hop, so I like all the samples that and like collecting samples and stuff on vinyl. But yeah, I sort of learned like the OG way. I honestly, in this day and age, I don't recommend people learning how to do vinyl. It's very expensive. It's not practical. But I'm very, very grateful that is how I learned. I feel like it trained my ear very well. It also forced me to be very intentional about my selection in many ways, because like you show up to the gig with like 2 crates of records, like that's all you got, baby. That's like you got to play with those. And so like literally I would spend like the first 2 years in Chicago from 2016 to 2018, I would consistently just play like 2 to 4 hour all vinyl sets at different like small bars around the city. My first party I threw was called the Bucktown Get Down, actually here in Bucktown,
nice,
nearby. At the Charleston. Have you been to the
Oh,
Charleston?
love Charleston.
Yeah,
they love doing vinyl too, because a lot of people from Charleston are from. Fuck, what's the name of this place? It was like the Bucktown Spot. It was a guy's name. Anyway,
interesting.
It's basing on it, but yeah, they love vinyl.
Yeah, great.
I've DJ'd at the Charleston one time. Yeah, it was fun.
Great sound system. Became friends with this guy named Mario. His his DJ name was 12 Gauge. And we threw a party like that. It was all vinyl, like hip hop, R&B, and house mostly. Some soul and funk in there as well. And that was my first time like hosting a consistent event in Chicago. Yeah, first 2 years was all vinyl. Ordering an Uber, taking multiple trips from my apartment, multiple crates of records into the Uber, in and out, sometimes in the snow.
It's crazy.
Like, yeah. No, it's insane to look back on.
Because you just can put it all on a USB and you're just like,
yeah, dude, it is quite something. And thinking about like we did an event with Pete Rock, one of like the famous hip hop producers from the 90s, and he talked about like learning how to DJ and stuff in like the 80s and 90s and stuff. It's just like, man, that was the foundation of all this that we're doing right now is because of that. But yeah,
wow, that's crazy.
To answer your question, yeah, then like 2018 I started getting into more like contemporary music and like also including like Afro beats and stuff like that as well, which obviously a lot of that isn't on vinyl. And I was like, yeah, this is inevitable. I can't be doing this forever. So but yeah,
I just to piggyback off this, I saw you said I DJ'd so much this week and I don't even want to see the Serato icon on my desktop.
That's real, bro.
Do you use Serato mostly, or do you use like Record Box at all? Do you use kind of all of them, or like what do we
Yeah, I use Serato 90% of the time. Serato introduced this new feature. I was ready to make the full transition to Record Box. Almost ready, kind of.
No, are you about to say stems?
You know I'm about to say stems.
No, dude, because I made the transition and now I'm like, wait, stems is crazy.
No, stems is fire. I'm a major proponent of it. There's definitely a way you can abuse it. I've seen DJs abuse Serato stems and mix songs out of key, or like just try to make mashups all night that make no sense.
So for people who don't know what the stems is, it's like you can isolate kind of like any of these stem separators, like real time. You know, I want the vocals, I want the beat. I can you do like bass line too, or like
literally, yeah, you can click a button and isolate, like you said, various elements of a song. You can isolate just the vocals, just the bass line, just the melody, as they call it, and then just the drums. And the software, whatever AI they're using, is actually quite good, like really good for like in time one button pressing and creating this. I used it more as a tool for transitions. I used it a lot during my Everyday People set to like, it can definitely make your transitions sound a lot cleaner, especially if like you just drop out the drums and bring in the drums of another song. Like just simple things like that go a really long way. And it gives me a lot of ideas to make mashups. Like if I'm just chilling at the crib and like I let my Serato open, I like pull up, scroll through my library, find songs in a similar key, and like, let's see how these sound together. And then I'll use Serato stems to isolate the vocal on one, isolate the instrumental on the other, put them together, match the BPMs, and like, oh, this sounds dope. And then what I'll later do is I'll like go into Ableton, and then like I use another software for my acapellas. I use Stemverter.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, I use that one. It if you're gonna actually record mashups, I that's what I use. And then just throw them together on Ableton. And yeah, but yeah, for live DJing, yeah, Serato stems is a major game changer. I do hate having to bring my laptop to the club because that is like, you know, that's
what I was trying to avoid.
It sucks. And yeah, especially if you're going to be hanging out afterward, like, or like if you want to wear it all night, or if you want to go out hanging out with your friends after, go get food, you're always having this big backpack on you. And yeah, it's a very expensive piece of, you know, equipment.
You don't want to have, you don't want to have it.
Yeah, especially around drunk people and drinks all night. Like, it's a total liability. But I do enjoy Rekordbox a lot. I mean, or like using USB sticks. I do an event called Pushing Piano, and it's an Amapiano focused event. I host it with Bonita Apple Blunt and Kokasi, and that one is like all Amapiano all night. So those sets I do on sticks because it's like tempo. It's all pretty much the same tempo all night, and those songs, like I said, are a lot longer. So like I don't have to quick mix as much. Like on when I'm doing a quote unquote like open format party where I'm playing multiple genres and I'm like trying to keep the party going high energy, like I'm usually mixing every like minute and a half to 2 minutes, and so like doing that on a computer feels easier for me. I know DJs who are quick on Rekordbox too. I think that's just an experience thing, but all my Amapiano sets
are spinning that knob.
They're just like going off on the knob.
Yeah.
And like I need to use the touch screen more on the 3000s, but yeah, man, no, all the piano sets are all Rekordbox, and it feels so amazing pulling up to the club with just headphones and a USB stick and 113 BPMs, and we outside.
Good, dude. Yeah. Just going back to the stems thing for a second, it's like it might not sound perfect when it's separated, but when it's playing with another song, it's probably like it's gonna sound pretty good. That's like
definitely it sounds good for sure. Yeah, if you just isolate the acapella, and like sometimes I'll do that when I like there's a big sing along part where like I take out the instrumental and it's just the big chorus where everyone's singing. Like just the acapella alone sometimes can sound like okay,
a little artifacty.
Yeah, but no, you blend it with it's just like using it in a subtle way. Like I'm gonna shout out some DJs who use it amazingly. Ace Spade, Slot A, two amazing hip hop open format DJs who use it like, and you can use pads too. So like if you have a certain type of mixer, you can like assign pads to and then you can just kind of like you're just cooking with it, man. It's just like, ooh, what does this bass line sound like over this? What does the melody of this song sound like over this? What if I take out the drums of this? It's like
micro level DJing potential.
Yeah.
Where
exactly.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm hoping. I know that they have something like that for Rekordbox.
But I haven't checked it out yet. Good. I heard it's not as good either.
Pay for it,
and like I don't know how you do that on USB sticks. Is my thing. I think it's like I know Rekordbox has like a computer application as well, but like if you're gonna use a computer, might as well use Serato.
We'll get to a point where that's just a standard. Where it'll be on like all the systems, I'm assuming.
Or even maybe the CDJs themselves have their own button for it. That'd be sick.
For sure. Like it'll happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of sad. But I switched over. I'm just like, damn it, Serato. God.
Yeah.
Even Serato Sample is pretty cool. Like they have some good plugins.
Yeah, bro. I know a lot of people who produce exclusively on Serato Sample, or Serato Studio, I should say. But I've heard about Serato Sample. I have the full Serato pack, but I definitely don't utilize it as much as I should. But I've heard Serato's just great. Their support too is great. Like if you have a problem, like you can like tweet at them and they usually get back to you pretty quickly. Yeah. Stuff when young DJs will ask me like what software they should use, and it's like it also depends. I think if you are gonna stick to like one genre, like if you want to be a house DJ or an Amapiano DJ or an Afro house DJ, whatever it may be, like Rekordbox might be better. But yeah, I think
it might be less daunting when you like get a gig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then Rekordbox, all your tracks are Rekordbox or something.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, and then using CDJs with Serato is its own kind of tricky.
Weird
it's a little
bastardization of like a...
Yeah, it involves like multiple USBs and like a USB hub, and like it's definitely can be weird at first to do. Whereas like if you have a USB stick, you plug it in, you see all your folders. Like I like both, but I started on Serato, and then the stems really just like... You ain't going nowhere.
the USB anxiety though, too, where it's like you're like, I hope this works.
Yo, literally,
dude, it's so stressful.
Yeah.
Do you do anything? Do you get anxiety before performing? Also, to curb the USB anxiety, do you like have multiple that you test? Like, how do you?
Oh yeah,
prepare yourself to have a good show. besides track selection and all that?
Yeah, man. I definitely try to like I'm definitely anal and like overthink a lot of like making sure I'm covered on all bases. I've in my whole DJ career, I've yet to have a nightmare situation of like my laptop crashing. There's been times when the system will turn off and I'll turn it back on in a second, but like I haven't had that moment where like someone spills a drink on my laptop and then they no longer become a Serato DJ. Yeah, literally.
Stitches
God,
about
Jesus
that.
Christ. But no, if I'm using a USB stick, I'm also lucky. I have CDJs at home, so before I leave, I plug in my CDJs
Oh,
and
yeah,
I can
that's
test
the
it. So
move.
basically, that's like a cheat code for me. But if I usually have a backup USB stick. Sometimes I'll even like if I'm even using USB sticks, I'll still bring my computer to the gig just in case.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm just like always want to have a
Well,
backup.
you got a lot more stuff on a computer potentially.
That too, exactly.
Yeah. Some of my DJ friends who like DJ like weddings or something where they need a lot of songs are like, dude,
Yeah.
you gotta have a laptop.
Gotta have a laptop for
I
sure.
mean, storage is going up, but still. Anyway, okay, so you
Totally.
just gotta prepare yourself. Do you get nervous before going on stage anymore, or do you kind of just like you know what you're gonna do? Did you ever get nervous?
Oh yeah, no, totally. I definitely get nervous. Big events, leading up to big events, absolutely. I will say in the last year, I've gotten the amount of like positive feedback I get from people has been really, I guess fortifying. I don't know if this is a word, or like just very like I should basically worry less. It's like this. I'm good at what I do, or like I've been like reinforced more and more by like friends and followers, whether it's like Instagram message or with just them coming up after my set and giving me compliments. Like the amount of love I've gotten recently has been like helping me realize like, yo, like you need to chill. Like you know how to do this. I've been doing this for 10 years. Like there's nothing to get nervous about, but I definitely get nervous before big gigs. Before Everyday People, I was certainly nervous. Nervous before events that like I don't know what to expect for sure. If it's like my own party or something I'm familiar with, like I don't really get nervous. But I think getting nervous is also a sign that you care a lot. And so a lot of times I'll get nervous the day before like a big event, and then once I show up to the party, I'm like, oh, this is like I can do this. I know how to rock this party.
There's just like a lot of things to think about. They're like, oh, logistically, like, is this gonna work? How am I gonna get there? Blah, blah. It's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
I get that. I totally understand.
Yeah, last year at Everyday People, I didn't have my set completely planned, but I had like a lot of songs I didn't want to play, and the DJs kept burning them throughout the party, and I was like 30 minutes before my set, I was like, I kind of have to like redesign this kind of set, and so that was definitely nerve-wracking. But I mean, like I said, I collect so much goddamn music of all types of sounds and vibes that like I'm kind of covered in many ways. So like and my organization's like pretty good enough that like there's certain crates I can like go into, like that I know where to find certain sounds and vibes. So it's like that definitely goes a long way. I think prep and organization goes a long way, help curb nerves. But yeah, certainly before big events, definitely get nerves for sure, and I think it's a good sign.
You briefly mentioned DJs burning your tracks, like etiquette wise, and you can drinks. I feel like I've just been talking and I've been
Are you kidding me?
drinking.
I've been yapping away.
Etiquette wise of like people playing songs, blah blah blah. Is there like a hey, this is my set list type of deal? Like, is there any cross communication about like making sure that doesn't happen? I know if people replay songs, it might not be the end of the world either. Like some people are like, oh, it's a great track.
Yeah.
It's a big track right now. You expect to hear it twice a night or something.
For sure. Yeah, no doubt. I think long day parties are the worst example you see of like song repetition. Especially there's some DJs who will show up, and I'm never this guy, and please don't be this guy. I always show up like at least an hour to 2 hours before my set to get like a feel for the room, feel for the vibe, listen to what the DJ is playing before me. If there's a day party that goes from 3 to 10 or 4 to 10, and a DJ plays a certain song between the 4 and 6 o'clock hour, it's probably okay to repeat that in the last hour or two, especially if not many people are in the room to hear it. But there's definitely, I think, for sure, some etiquette around like certain big songs not getting played early. I saw a DJ on Twitter complaining about like, you know, like in New York, for example, like peak hour in New York, it's like 1 to 3 a.m. And so there's DJs who are playing like the big songs, like Not Like Us, for example, by Kendrick Lamar. Like that's like easily the biggest song of the summer. DJs playing that at like 11 p.m. or midnight when the club is still half full, and like you're not going to get the full effect of that song if you play it that early. So there's certainly like kind of an unspoken DJ etiquette about that. If you do show up late to the club, this is another dope thing about Serato. I think Record Box has this too, but definitely go through before you start your DJ set. Go into the other DJ before you like create history. You can basically see their song history of what they played beforehand. And I think Momo even told me about that. And so like if you show up late if you are running late to a party, go through their history, see what's been played, and then you should be good.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. So it like keeps the information on the deck versus on the USB. Unless like if they pull their USB, is it still there?
This is just Serato thing.
It's just
yeah.
Okay.
USB and Record Box might have it, but it's like on the laptop. You can click on the Serato software history, and it shows you all the songs you played in the last X amount of time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's good to know. Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely, I think there's an art to how a party and certain songs are played, and I think on last Sunday at Everyday People, the way it was flowed out was like pretty spotless, and like I do appreciate DJs and curators who do, and like if you know the DJs well, you don't have to have this conversation at all, but I think because maybe MoMA doesn't know all these DJs personally in each city, he has to do this beforehand. I did very much appreciate the way he kind of laid out the vibes of the party.
This is the general course of the party.
Exactly. And it goes a really long way, because like people are dancing and like turning up for hours. Like there needs to be some kind of flow to it. And I think that's why I was able to shine so much, because like Sky Jetta and Khalid before me like had them like singing and like trapped out like bangers after bangers of like, you know, Swag Surf, Finito by Chief Keef, like big songs where you're just like kind of basically just jumping up and down and like screaming the words too. And then like I said, it gave me to go back into like dance vibes, like groovy vibes, Afrobeat vibes, like so yeah. There's definitely a very subtle art, whether it's your own individual sets or whether it's like throughout a whole party, how you kind of like build out the night. And it shouldn't also feel formulaic. Like in an ideal world, it should just flow like it is. And yeah,
like understanding kind of what needs to be played at what times, just on feel. Like, we could get into some, like people like dancing in this crowd. Let's get into like some more dancey stuff.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah, because
I was also gonna say that it just made me think of like the etiquette of talking to another DJ to like make sure you both are not playing each other's tracks. It's almost like a conversation you don't want to have, kind of like before you get intimate with someone that you've never been intimate with. You got to kind of ask those questions like, hey, are you on birth control,
like consent,
or whatever. It's like, hey, are you gonna play
for sure
Billie Jean or whatever it is.
No doubt it can be kind of uncomfortable like that,
but also just like, it doesn't always happen, I'm sure that like people don't
for sure. Some people also, there's a lot of people who just don't give a shit and will just repeat songs you play, or like aren't paying attention, or repeat songs
or it's like, you're the 11 o'clock slot, you were saying like that's not peak hour, but it's like you're playing that Kendrick song because it's peak hour of your set,
right?
So you're like, I'm gonna play it.
And this goes back to, I don't even think we started this conversation about like a lot of these new DJs, man, and like TikTok and like there's experience really goes a long way, because like a lot of these new DJs are like thirsty for these like viral moments of them playing a big song or doing a big transition, and getting this big reaction, filming it and uploading it and hopefully going viral from it. When in the reality, like that's not really how parties work, especially like I said, if you are the opening DJ or like within the first half of the party. Like the idea of your job, and it's very important, is to like set the vibe for the party. And I love opening sets. Opening sets are amazing too, because like for me at least, I get to play a lot of the music that I like more. Like I in many cases, ideally I would always do me, right? But like I get to play deeper cuts people don't know about, put people onto new music. And yeah, I do think there's like this in this new digital content thirsty age, like there's this like constant need to play like big songs or like have these big single moments, when it's really about just like, and something that I'm proud of, like I certainly have a couple big moments throughout my set, But I feel like my sets are just known for being like quality or consistent throughout, rather than just like quick little high points here and there.
Like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You like, oh, and okay,
and then we're down
back
forever.
down.
Yeah, for sure. So I think there's a lot of learning that a lot of these new DJs need to do about just like, know your role in the party.
Like, there's a lot of like gimmicky stuff, not gimmicky, but it's just like
gimmicky stuff for sure.
Like spin backs. I feel like have become such a huge thing, and I'm like, okay, how many spin backs though?
I like spin backs.
I like them too,
but
sometimes
I could get carried away sometimes.
Sometimes, I mean, honestly, I almost live for it every time. Like,
for sure,
because I'm just like, this guy's feeling himself. Hell yeah, let's go. But
and also I think sorry, go on.
No. I was just gonna say, occasionally I feel like if you're like a new DJ and you're just like, dude, I'm gonna spin back because I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
and I feel like it's not also big in like, I see them more often in like UK and like European DJ culture. I feel like it's not that common as much in American culture. Also, it matters whether or not, like, if you think it was hype versus the crowd. Like, there's this shit where I'll be like, I like playing the transition in my head, and I'm playing a big song, and I'll get like kind of an okay solid reaction to it, and I'll do a spin back, and then everyone's like, I think more often than not, I think most crowds, especially in Chicago, are like confused by what I'm doing. But the idea is like, yo, that shit is amazing. We'll run it.
You gotta have someone on stage being like, my guy. Like,
you need an MC. An MC definitely helps like reinforce. It's like, yo, pull it up, or like, yo, play that shit back again.
And then people get hyped. They're like, wait, there's a moment happening.
Exactly.
That's also kind of,
it's a balance though. It's a tender balance.
It is a balance, but it is weird how like, I feel like even just the fact that you're like saying that there's a moment to be had kind of feeds into people's like virality thing, where it's like, oh, are someone gonna start filming? Like, is something happening? Do I have to pull my phone out and film it?
Right.
Dude, that shit drives me kind of crazy, but it's fun. Like, I like it, but honestly, I have this thing where it's like, I feel like if they just filmed every show, or like whatever, like if you knew that the show was gonna get filmed in like a very nice quality, you wouldn't have to record it.
Right.
Because then you just know if you need to grab it, it'll be on this later.
Yeah. It's a good point.
I just feel like everyone's got these videos on their phone where it's like, what is it doing? You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, man. I've been more and more inclined or like tempted to host like a no phone party. I think seeing those pop up more are dope. There's a big DJ from London and Amsterdam, GOT. She has talked a lot about this, about like, just trying to live more in the moment during these events, and like how our memories have actually been stunted because we are trying to like grab these quick clips of these events, when it's like you're actually not going to remember them as much, because like your brain is technically more focused on the filming part of it than actually the experiential enjoyment of it. So I would love to throw
like the
parties.
Bag.
Yeah, like
right, not like, because you can't take. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think that's the more common way.
The sticker.
Put is like you show up, and I think I've actually haven't been to one of these parties to really know how it works. But like, I think you show up and like someone in the venue will like put a sticker on your phone, or there's also the bag technique too, where
I mean, you can't take the phone. I feel like people would freak.
Oh yeah,
be like, oh, I gotta give you like my ID for my phone back. Like,
right,
no.
and like obviously emergencies can happen. So like, there's definitely a line for it. But at the same time, annoyingly enough, it's like I also need content. I need people to see my shit. But I guess you really should just like hire.
I didn't really think about that.
I guess the key is just hiring your own person to run that for you, and not relying on the crowd to do it for you. But yeah, whenever I go to concerts and events, I usually my rule is like 2, maybe 3 videos, because I take a couple. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't take video at events, because it's great to look back on, great to have, but there's definitely a balance to it. And like, these people are out here just filming these whole ass parties. Just like,
it just feels weird when like everyone's filming.
Yeah,
like Skrillex, I'm sure this weekend everyone was probably filming.
Yeah, and
it's like, dude, there's a literal crew that was hired for Lollapalooza to record this. It's going to look way better and sound better.
Yeah, exactly. No, and the videos never really do it justice on the phone. And man, it's just like,
I feel like we're getting into the boomer talk. You know what I mean? Where we start getting a little bit like,
Back in my day, we had a Nokia.
Yeah.
We had ringtones.
Dude, they're bringing back the Nokia whatever, the one, or was it?
It's like a brick type.
Yeah,
phone? Like, are they called dumb phones? Right.
I guess. Also, I feel like dumb people use dumb a lot, and I'm like, is that okay? Because we're talking about people who can't talk technically, right? Isn't that what being dumb is?
Yeah.
Dude, dumb's gonna get canceled next.
Damn.
No, I'm just kidding. but like, yeah, you don't have like all the internet, or maybe you have the internet, but it's just not as like.
Or maybe not
I
like
have
social
a huge
apps or
screen
something.
on my phone. Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like we're the same age. We were literally the last generation of people to like know what life was like without smartphones and with smartphones. You know, like and like social media and stuff. It's like we were really like the guinea pigs for this whole crazy social experiment. And like,
I know,
man, whenever I have kids, like I hope I can. It's just gonna be crazy to like whatever. I don't even know what's next, but like
be hooked in.
Man, I am thankful I was not like an iPad baby at all, because I feel like kids these days, we used to play basketball in the park.
Get outside,
touch some grass.
Yeah, grounding. That's what they call it when you get out on the grass.
Shut up. It's like
grounding. Yeah. It's like supposed to align the ions or some shit in your body, but I think it does something. It makes sense. Like human beings, like touching grass. That seems like that would.
Yeah, that's
be
their natural environment.
Get some soil. You know, get some soil on your feet. Fuck it.
Go outside, get some soil. Get some dirt under your nails.
All right. Well, at the risk of just sounding like a bunch of old dudes, I did want to congratulate you. 4 years global currency very recently, or it's about to happen. I forget.
Yeah, it's about to happen. We announced it today. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
podcast will
it's about to happen. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be in the U.S., which makes me sad. I'll be in that Portugal trip.
Oh, amazing! At least
this would be cool.
But yeah, Labor Day weekend. I don't know when this airs, but hopefully beforehand. September 1st is our 4-year anniversary. So, and a whole 1 year was technically like inside, during the pandemic. So it's really been 3 years of like outdoor events. But yeah, we're excited, man. We're next year we're hoping to do our 5-year in a bigger venue. There's already been a bigger venue in Chicago that's reached out to us that wants to work with us. So hopefully we're doing our 5-year in 2025. Go big for that, and then see where it goes. Just enjoy the ride, man.
Dude, yes, I wish you the best of luck with that. And I actually am like I saw that it was gonna be during when I was gone. I was like, fuck. That would have been killing 2 birds with 1 stone too, because it's at Sleeping Village.
Exactly, you would have popped 2 cherries in one day. But October 11th, what are your plans?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, cool. We're doing another global currency on October 11th. So
okay, dope. Yeah, I definitely want to come out to one. I've only seen a lot of stuff on social media. I actually ran into you in line at the Chicago, the CFC.
The fashion thing. Cool, dope.
You told me very briefly. You're like, oh, I run a global currency. I was like,
yeah,
oh,
you do look familiar.
Yeah, no, yeah, but.
He said to the podcast host 2 hours in the podcast, you look kind of familiar, bro.
Yeah, wait. I just remember because I had a buddy who told me about you. And he's like, dude, DJ Mochi. And I was talking to you online because I think I was like, is this the line? It was one of those conversations. Like, is this where the line starts? We're getting free drinks. And I was like, okay. And then you told me about global currency. And then I looked you up and I was like, oh, that was DJ Mochi. Oh, okay. And then it was like a click moment.
Yeah. Cool, dude. I do remember that.
That was a cool event.
It was very cool.
It was like
very
people. Very cool. It was like Chicago Symphony Orchestra, and then there was a fashion show. Like, and then it was just dope. Yeah. Beautiful music, stuff.
Beautiful fashion. My first ever fashion show I'd been to. It was very, very cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Fashion events for DJing.
Love to do more of those. Yeah. All the fashion week stuff in Paris and New York. Like, there's all these after parties, and like that kind of scene is definitely very, 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 very cool.
It seems stressful in this, like the after party for sure. Yeah, thumbs up. But like the DJing for the fashion show itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be like stressful. Maybe you just got to like transition a couple songs, but like.
Yeah, I've never done it before. I'm curious what the vibe, what it's like. I wonder how much is like pre-requested from the models.
Probably, yeah. Like
As,
all
like, when-
of it is.
It could
You're not
be.
just like we're gonna go into like something
It's
crazy
like,
right
y'all ready
now.
for this? I don't know. Drum and bass
Dubstep.
set.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
okay, so I just wanted to wrap it up with I talked, and I am really curious to hear what you think of this, which is I talked about your first concert, but we always go to what was your favorite, most game-changing, impactful concert, one that you went to and you were just like, dude, I gotta do this, or like my mind is open now.
Yeah, man. I started having this conversation with a friend recently, and for me, I think without a doubt, it was summer 2015. I saw D'Angelo perform after his Black Messiah album came out. And like, for those who are not familiar with D'Angelo, one of the greatest R&B singers of all time, put out albums like Voodoo and man, I'm just blanking right now. It's not great. But anyway, he was performing his Black Messiah tour and at the Crystal. Wow, full circle. It was actually at the Crystal Ballroom where my first concert was.
Oh.
And I'd only been in that theater a few times. So that's interesting that this all came back.
The therapy session.
Yo, man, thank you. No, but yeah, just the instrumentation, the live band, like, I don't know what to say. It was like about a 3.5 hour show. He did like 2 to 3 45-minute encores where the crowd like would not leave and was just like screaming for more. He would come back, play for another 45 minutes, get off stage. Madness.
I've never
come back on
seen
stage.
that before.
I've
That's
never seen.
crazy.
It was the most encores I've ever seen before in my life. The way the band was like locked in and in a groove and like pocket was just it. I can't even really put into words how like in sync everything was, and the crowd was all locked in. Everyone knew the words of the songs. D'Angelo as a performer is one of the greatest performers of all time. So he was all on the stage just playing piano. He was upstairs on stage singing, doing it all. And then me and my friends staked out the tour bus as well. And like as they walked out from the venue to the tour bus.
I've done that before.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. So yeah, dapped it up with him and then his bassist Pino Palladino. But it's very quick. But I can still say I did shake it up with D'Angelo, which is definitely a hype moment. But it was sort of like a you had to be there experience. But no, just like seeing that band locked in was definitely just like extremely, extremely memorable.
People love D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Like go crazy for. I've heard people say life-changing concerts from him.
Oh, word.
before.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Like just because. I mean, I've never seen one of his shows. I really got to.
Yeah,
There's so much a life to experience still for myself.
Yeah, and he doesn't tour that much anymore either. I think since then he's really been off the circuit. He's always been very kind of an elusive guy. He's gone through like drug and alcohol, I think abuse things before as well a long time ago. So like he's had a pretty up and down career, like touring wise, but so yeah, don't worry about it, man. I mean,
he might come back.
Hopefully, he comes back. I don't think he's definitely not putting any new music out since then. But very gorgeous record. I mean, listen to all of his albums. I hate how I don't remember his debut album name. But.
It's okay. Randomly, while you were thinking of that, I thought of the venue in Bucktown. It's called Danny's.
Danny's. Oh my God, classic. I'm tragic that went away, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I moved to Bucktown after it closed, and I was like,
no, damn. I never got to DJ there once either. That was definitely on my bucket list because like that was definitely one of those nights or like one of those venues that was very special. I don't know if you want to explain it more, but like dimly lit, dark room.
Yeah, I've just heard it's like.
Oh, you never even got.
I never even got to go.
Oh shit! Yeah, went a few times. A few of my early Chicago DJ friends would play there, Shazam Bangles, and a lot of like really dope like boogie, funk, house, soul, disco DJs would play there. That was like kind of a main vibe they had, and they also had I think a reggae night as well. Always all vinyl.
Yeah, I've heard it's always vinyl.
Yeah, very 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 small DJ booth, very small dance floor. Super dark and dimly. I love dark rooms. One of my biggest pet peeves is like an overly lit, too bright of a space.
Lasers.
Yeah. Lasers or yeah, whatever. Just like
lasers
turn
have
some
their
lights on.
place.
Yeah,
You know.
well, lasers don't even really emit that much light. Like I don't mind a dark room with lasers. It's just like literally like a bright overhead light.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what are we doing here,
Like
people?
in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it changes the vibe a lot. But yeah, Danny's was a Chicago institution. If you know, you know.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
exactly how it's described, and I'm just like, God dang it!
It was you had to be their thing, and like I was just getting more into vinyl DJing as that was closing down, and I was like, definitely very sad that I couldn't get a chance to play there.
A lot of the people that apparently worked at Danny's moved to the Charleston,
Oh, word. Okay.
or like there's at least a few,
Like just general staff or DJs or
yeah,
both? Or, okay.
staff and people that run it, something like that. But yeah,
Charleston's a great spot, great date spot too. If you're looking for cute night out with the
good music,
yeah.
great music. No food. If they had food, I would go there.
It would be
all the
insane.
time.
But I think, do you get some tamale guy action in there? At all?
No, yeah, there's a tamale guy.
Okay, cool. That's
Is tamale guy like? I know that there was like a GoFundMe for tamale guy over COVID. I just remember that. But and I was gonna say like, is this like a Chicago thing? But I mean, maybe it is a Chicago thing.
I think it is.
Tamale guy.
It's just
Comes in with the cooler.
It's fucking
cheap
so clutch
tamales.
every time, right when you want it. It's like at like 1:15 a.m.
And then you're just like, fuck yeah,
hell yeah,
dude,
I'll give you $5 for like 4 green chili tamales. Like
it's not even expensive.
It's so cheap.
Yeah.
And it's like they're already so delicious to begin with, but like I feel like that type of food at that time of night too, when you're drunk, like just like some meat, some salsa, and some like corn masa. It's just like, come on. It's like you can kind of just peel off the husk and just kind of chomp it.
Dude,
you're making me hungry.
I always thought it would be cool to like open up a spot like Danny's, like Jerry's or something like that. Would be because then you don't even, everyone just comes to you. You know what I mean? You can deck it out and like have.
Yeah,
that's something I would totally do that at some point.
It'd be dope to open your own venue for sure. Yeah, but specifically you want it to be like your name thing.
I don't know if it has to be my name, but just thinking of Danny's to Jerry's, that makes sense.
No, man. You should partner with a guy named Ben and maybe start an ice cream shop. Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of just
dude, we could have ice cream.
Kind of have progressive values.
yeah.
Nice.
Have a bunch of flavors, seasonal flavors, whatever, all that stuff.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
I just came up with that idea right now.
It's
feel free to use that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Free game right there.
Free game, dude. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up.
Call it Jerry and Ben's.
Yeah. Keep it a little different. And then I'll also know a guy named Tom.
Nice.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I apologize.
Let's wrap this guy up in the sense that sometimes we do shout outs. There were a lot of shout outs through the episode, but anyone in particular that just gets a special shout out.
Yeah, I've named a lot of like DJ friends, collaborators in Chicago already. Definitely got to shout out my parents for being supportive of all my creative pursuits during my whole life, really. I mean, and without them, I may have picked up an instrument at some point, but they were like very much like on it when I was a kid. So like, yeah, I'm just like leaving journalism and pursuing music more, or like leaving the career that you got your degree in, and like is always create some trepidation, and like I wasn't sure how my family was going to feel about that, but they've been supportive of me this whole time. My dad's a photographer too, so he's like knows what it's like to be creative, so I think that helps a little bit. But yeah, definitely shout out my mom and dad, Audrey and Dawn, for all the creative support over the years, and yeah, just Chicago in general, who've embraced me and like brought me in, and consistently show up to my events, and just like imposter syndrome can be real even when you're cracking and popping off. Like there's you play an event here and there where it's lame, and then just a nice compliment from someone goes a long way. Yeah, just the Chicago scene in general, I'd say.
Imposter syndrome, it's kind of like that thing we were talking about with like anxiety before you go on. I feel like if you don't get imposter syndrome, it's like you might be a little sociopathic or something.
Right?
Like
exactly.
Something's going on.
Definitely. And I think I learned it. I feel like you get more of it. Like the bigger you get, the more it becomes real, because it's like the bigger opportunities you get. You're like, am I worth it of playing Lollapalooza? Like,
you're like, this makes sense. Like, next step wise, but also, whoa.
Yeah, like, should I really be here? But
ooh, it's so real. It's tough.
It's terrible, man. It's terrible. But but you just got to fight through it, man. And just believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where can people find you, like internet wise?
Find me online. I've got a website with a lot of things, all my connections, djmochi.com. Follow me on Instagram at DJ_Mochi. I'm on YouTube too, but not that much. But I would say Instagram, my website are great. I also have a weekly newsletter I put out. I did not mention that. Almost weekly newsletter. You can also sign up for djmochi.com/subscribe. I post all my gigs throughout the week, as well as like other musings about my life. It's a great way for me to like keep writing. I think that's been a fun thing for me to do.
Oh, that's a newsletter that I would subscribe to, because like with the journalism background, like I feel like you probably put a little bit more into it than just like, hey.
It is, yeah. I definitely like do some recaps of my week and like ramble about random like things. Like just talk about my life as a DJ and my life outside of DJing. And sometimes I'll put like, guest list links. Like there's like hidden gems as well. So it's been fun, man. And it's also beats the algorithm as well, because like there's people I follow who I don't see any of their shit, because like Instagram has told me that I guess I don't want to, even though like they're my homie, and like I'm missing out on all these things because of it. And like this completely beats the algorithm. You're getting it in your inbox once a week. You get all the links. So highly recommend you sign up for that. Join the Mochi mail. You won't be you won't be disappointed, hopefully.
The Mochi mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. The newsletter. Damn.
Yeah.
I got to think about that.
Cheat code.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So
yeah.
Yes, we said them all. And global currency.
And yes, I'm sorry. Global currency. You can follow us at global currency chai, like CHI, like Chicago. I believe on all platforms, including TikTok. And yeah, we throw shows at Sleeping Village. Our next one is September 1st. One after that is October 11th. We're also dropping merch. We also have a radio show called GC Radio. We put out every third Friday of the month on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/global currency shy. I also have my own SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/DJ Mochi. I have all my mixes on there if you want to hear what a Mochi set sounds like. And yeah, those are the two zones you need to be locked in on.
Yeah, go get involved in the ecosystem.
You're all welcome,
dude. Thank you so much for coming out. This is a good,
Jerry.
Good-ass
this
time.
was awesome. This is great. It beat my expectations.
Good. Well, we'll do it again in a year or something.
Hell
like
yeah,
that.
Sounds good.
I'll do a little sign off. If you guys made it this far, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.